We recently reviewed both the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G and the vivo V50 5G, two mid-range phones that start at less than 27,000 pesos. They each bring their own strengths to the table, whether it's Samsung's trusted One UI experience or Vivo's Zeiss-tuned cameras. So, without further ado, let's see who comes out on top. Starting with design. Right off the bat, the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G sticks to a more traditional build with flat sides, sharp edges, and the modern minimalist Samsung aesthetic featuring the triple camera layout and a flat back. What's nice about the A56 is it sports an aluminum frame and Gorilla Glass Victus Plus for both the front and back glass, giving it a sturdy feel in hand with some certified drop and scratch resistance. And yes, it still comes with IP67 water and dust resistance. Meanwhile, the vivo V50 5G goes for an arguably sleeker, curvier approach. It features a satin-like finish with curved edges and a curved display in front. It's lighter and, in our opinion, more comfortable to hold. Unlike the A56, the V50 gets a higher IP69 water and dust resistance rating. IP67 offers protection against dust and water submersion of up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. IP69, on the other hand, is designed to withstand high pressure and high temperature water jets. And on top of all that, Vivo also features a diamond anti-drop film and a 10-facet internal cushioning structure for added durability. So, for this round, yes, design is subjective to each person's taste. But for this matchup, if we're after a tougher, flashier, and more ergonomic design, the vivo V50 5G edges ahead here. For display, the Galaxy A56 5G has a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED panel with a Full HD Plus resolution, up to a 120Hz refresh rate, and peaks at 1200 nits of brightness. It's pretty color accurate too, especially when set to the natural display profile. The vivo V50 5G, on the other hand, sports a 6.77-inch curved AMOLED display, also with a Full HD Plus resolution and a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. Both displays offer users inky deep blacks with a vibrant punch if warranted. The V50's display can feel a bit more immersive when in actual use thanks to its curved screen. We can even make a case that it actually feels a bit more premium while watching videos or playing games, especially when compared to the A56's thicker display bezels, which have shrunken compared to its predecessor, but still thicker than the competition. So, for this round, both displays are excellent, which means this round should result in a tie. But in our opinion, the A56's thicker bezels can sway a lot of users to the V50's side. And with that said, we're giving this round to the vivo V50 5G, giving it its second point. For hardware, the Galaxy A56 sports a Samsung Exynos 1580 chipset paired with 8GB of RAM and either 128GB or 256GB of UFS 3.1 internal storage. It's good enough for casual use, multitasking, and a bit of gaming, though don't expect it to go toe-to-toe with higher-end chips. Or so you might think. On the other hand, the vivo V50 5G is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, configured with 8 or 12GB of RAM and 256GB or 512GB of UFS 2.2 storage. And for those wondering, neither handsets feature expandable storage via microSD card. When it came to benchmarks, some of you may have already assumed storage speeds to be on the A56's side. If so, you guys are right. It's just the typical difference between the different UFS classes. When it comes to general performance, the Exynos-powered A56 beats the Snapdragon-riding V50, seen in both Antutu and PCMark benchmark results. When it came to more GPU-intensive benchmarks, the V50 takes the cake, albeit not by much, but still does anyway. In everyday use, the A56 can seem a lot snappier when navigating through the interface coming from a sleep state. But other than that, we haven't really noticed that big of a difference in everyday tasks and general gaming. But in this round, there is a clear winner, and it's the Samsung Galaxy A56, scoring its first point in this comparison. For optics, Vivo sticks to a Zeiss-tuned dual-camera setup consisting of a 50-megapixel main sensor, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 50-megapixel front camera. Based on our full review, the selfie camera is one of the best in this segment, and the rear setup produces sharp, contrasty images in daylight and decent low-light performance. As for the Galaxy A56 5G, Samsung didn't change much from the previous model. It's still rocking the same 50-megapixel main camera, 12-megapixel ultra-wide, and 5-megapixel macro sensor, and a 12-megapixel shooter for selfies. Samsung's camera tuning is generally reliable and leans towards natural color processing with a cooler tone. Checking out some sample shots, right off the bat, we noticed that the A56 delivers images with more contrast and slightly more vibrancy compared to the V50. As expected, the A56 also produces slightly cooler tones compared to the V50's warmer renditions. Although the V50 gets the upper hand when it comes to retaining shadow detail and even produces slightly sharper images compared to the A56, which you guys can see in some of our samples once we zoom in. Honestly, it's really close between these two camera systems. It's just a matter of preference between cooler tones with a green tint or warmer tones with a more magenta one. And with that said, it's another tie here in the camera segment. Vivo packs a more modern 6000 mAh silicon carbon battery on the V50 with support for 90-watt flash charge. And in our usage, it held up well for a day's worth of work and multimedia consumption. Just like its predecessor, Samsung packs in another 5000 mAh battery in the A56, this time with a quicker 45-watt wired charging rate. Both phones can definitely last a day, especially when new. Our review of the V50 even claims the phone can last up to 2 days, which is pretty wild. And when comparing battery benchmarks, in our PCMark Work 3.0 battery tests, the Galaxy A56 lasted 15 hours and 15 minutes, while the vivo V50 scored 21 hours and 3 minutes. So when it comes to battery, it seems pretty clear that the vivo V50 takes this one too, for its better battery life and faster charging rate. There is one more thing Samsung has up its panels, and that's One UI. The Galaxy A56 ships with the latest One UI 7 based off Android 15 out of the box. And even though it isn't the full flagship One UI 7 experience, lacking DeX support and such, it's still pretty solid nonetheless. The vivo V50 runs FunTouch OS 15 based on Android 15 as well. And we're all sure that a lot of Vivo users can vouch that we can still get a pretty clean experience, especially after turning off notifications for very push notification heavy default apps. And so, since actual UI usage can still be counted as preferential, let's take a look at software support. Samsung promises the A56 will be getting 6 years of major OS updates and security patches, while Vivo has vouched that the vivo V50 will be getting 3 major Android upgrades and up to 4 years of security updates. So, without much of a surprise, Samsung takes the round here for its alleged longer software support. Before we conclude this matchup, it's pretty clear that the vivo V50 5G has come out on top so far in terms of overall value, but there is still one more thing we have to talk about, and that's price. In the Philippines, the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G starts at 23,990 pesos for the 128GB variant, while the 256GB storage option sets you back 25,990 pesos. The vivo V50 5G starts at 26,999 pesos for the 8 plus 256GB config, 27,999 pesos for the 12 plus 256GB option, and up to 30,999 pesos for the 12 plus 512GB variant. And with that, I guess it is safe to say we can give the A56 another point for budget, resulting in a tie match. In conclusion, our recommendation is that prospecting buyers should opt for the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G if they want the stronger phone in terms of overall performance, longer software support, and a decent set of cameras. That's for both the front and the back. We recommend the vivo V50 5G for those who want a handset with thinner display bezels compared to something like the A56, a higher IP rating, decent cameras, and better battery life and charging. And that wraps up this comparison review. Which team are you guys on for this matchup? Team Samsung or Vivo? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you found this video informative, educational, or helpful, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon to get notified of our future uploads. Be sure to visit gigatech.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Miguel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!